This is power and purpose personified, walking towards justice, fighting for freedom. This is speaking now, empowering the next generation to know how to live with confidence and precision, to move with mastery and meaning. This is a spirit that is free, traveling one coast to the next, escaping the comforts of home. This is finding new friends and exploring the warrior within to destinations amazing, to destinations unknown. This is what it means to keep pounding, to cheer for the home team without hesitation. This is love and life, success and sacrifice. This is Yolanda Trotman, and this is The Conversation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Conversation, where my guest is Julie Wadley, and I am so excited to have her on the show, because we are going to talk about a topic that obviously is something that is relevant to all of us at all stages in our lives, but especially now that we are in a digital age. Before we get into that, obviously, if you have not done so already, follow us on all things social media at The Combo Pod Show. That would be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, of course, the YouTube channel. Literally, if you Google The Combo Pod Show, all of our social media will come up, and so that you can get connected and stay connected with us there. We are also doing mini combo pod shows that we're doing through Facebook Live, so definitely make sure that you specifically like The Conversation with Yolanda Trotman Facebook page. At the end of the day, all of us are in some form of isolation at some point during the day, during our lives. And for those of us who are single, how do we navigate that? How do we navigate love? How do we navigate dating in an age that's digital, which has always been an issue in the last, say, 6 to 7 years? With online dating and all that. And we'll talk about all that, but we're also going to talk about it in terms of how we're navigating it in the space that we are now, and then the things that we can do to adjust. Mm-hmm. So my very special guest is Julie Wadley. We met, if I remember correctly, in 2014 when I was running for judge.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, you know, I got
the Herb and Felicia Gray party.
Yes. And that's where we originally met. Yeah. And now you were doing some matchmaking then. I can't remember if it was for the same company that you are now, or if it was on your own. Yeah. And that's Eli Simone. Yeah. So that's an Eli Simone agency. And it was funny. Y'all listen. I thought it was a good idea to try to run for political office and date, like, for real. It made sense. And look, no, this is real talk. So, you know, for a woman, in particular a black woman, to run for a political office and you're not married or seeing someone seriously, there was a lot of stigma, and a lot of people warned me about that, because not having gone through the classic ways before I decided to run, not being involved in the bar, not being involved in the party, pretty much being a voter. And that was it. You know, taking this huge leap of faith was one thing, but to also do it and you don't have anybody that's on by your side. And so that's when we met. And so you were like, oh, I'm a matchmaker. I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm a date. And you were like, are you sure? I'm like, I can make the time. I can do it. And then
I should have pushed back. I should have pushed back. Now, I usually don't talk about my clients, but
you talk about me.
Great.
Let's talk about it.
You're one of my first clients.
Yes.
And, you know, we were both excited, but in the back of my head, I'm like, but she's running for judge. Like, she's running. I mean, you were literally going from A to B, you were all over the place. And I was like, she's not going to want to be, you know, tied down to some date. And even if she is excited, it's hard because you've already got so much going on, and dating requires you to be present.
Right.
And if you're already thinking about my next appointment, I'm on the phone, somebody's trying to get at me, I'm trying to, you know, have this campaign, I need to be here, I need to be shaking babies, all that.
I don't be shaking babies.
Well, it's not shaking. You don't be shaking babies. Shaking hands and kissing babies.
Get me arrested.
You know.
But I know what you mean.
It's going to be hard to just sit and be present in the moment. And then to you know, with the guys, they're going to be like, okay, is she going to be ready? You know, because I want to get to know her too, but if she's all over the place, that's not going to work. So I was just like, we will try it.
But you couldn't tell me that I couldn't make it work.
Well, like I can tell you anything, Yolanda.
That too, and then it felt like okay, but I felt this sense of okay, there's got to be somebody. Like real talk. Like I can't not be out, I can't be out here and not have somebody who's supporting me because of I got to think about the optics.
You're right. But to be fair, timing is everything.
Right.
And you might, and this is for everybody else, you might find someone who really is right for you, but the timing can be wrong.
Right.
So throughout the course of you doing whatever you're doing, you can be like, he's great, but I'm gonna keep him in the back of my head when the timing is right.
Right.
You know, so it can be hard, especially we as women, we're all over the place, especially with coronavirus. You're a mom, listen. Hats off to single moms, because you're doing a whole lot more than you thought you were going to do. But you know, just taking your time and being present with whatever you're doing at the moment.
Well, needless to say, we didn't find him, but we had a good job looking before it was like, you know what, this probably isn't the best idea right now. And I think that
you called it.
Yeah, it was like, I don't. Right. And so fast forward, doggone it. It's been almost 6 years now. Yeah. You know, the whole idea of dating has changed. I mean, there was barely any, you know, there were no datings. I think maybe for Black folks, it might have been Black People Meet or something crazy like that, you know, in that space. But we'll talk about that when we get to matchmaking and some of the things that you do and what you've seen. But one of the things that we always talk about, or that's very important as far as our format, is how we tell your story, because I want the people to learn more about you before we get into the topic, which
Northern Virginia. Some words to describe me: silly, honest, loving, affectionate.
One more.
Ambitious.
Okay. And so Eli Simone is the agency. Now, is it your agency or
it's mine?
Okay. And when was Eli Simone created?
In the fall of 2013. So it will be 6 years.
And so what were you doing now is it a matchmaking agency? Like, tell us specifically, like, what is it you do?
It is a coaching and matchmaking agency. So I focus on all the life cycle of relationships. So dating, just getting prepared to date, getting your life in order, dating, relationships, premarital coaching, and then marriage coaching, and then, you know, if you are divorced, you're trying to get back into the dating space, I coach them as well. So whatever stage you are in your relationship life.
Now, why Eli Simone? How'd you come up with the name?
So those are the names of my two children. I did not want to name it some flowery, you know, cutesy name. I really wanted it to be representative of who my stakeholders are, which are my kids. And I wanted to leave a legacy. If they wanted to expand the business into something else, they could do it under their name. So I wanted it to be important.
And so what made you decide that you wanted to go out on your own?
I always knew that I wanted to do something on my own. I didn't always have the gumption, and I didn't always have the courage to do it, but it came to a head in 2013. My sister and I were having a conversation, and she was like, you know what, I'm over this cube life. This is not for me. And I'm like, yeah, girl, we're on the same page. Like, my energy is too much for four walls. Like, I need to be out talking, impacting, influencing, doing something with people. And so I knew I couldn't do that in a corporate space or some other space. So I wanted to go out on my own. And she's like, okay, you gonna tell me what I'm good at, and I'm gonna tell you what you're good at. And then we are both gonna come up with a business or a career that fits in with that, so we can monetize what we're passionate about. And so she told me that, you know, I've been with my husband for God knows, 20, 30 years. And she said, you always give him really good advice. And maybe you should get into that space. So I was like, oh, I was going to go be a therapist. I was going to open my own kind of counseling office and all that. She's like, that's not what I wanted you to get out of that conversation.
Right.
I need you to, you know, do something like Paul C. Brunson. Like, he's out here doing he's a matchmaker. He's all this. And I said, okay, let me just research what this is about. Right. And I realized that, one, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and Black people ain't in it. So, but we are the ones who need it the most. Right. So I said, okay, I'm solving a problem here, and it is recession proof.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, that's it.
Okay. So let's talk about little Julie. Let's talk about little Julie. Now, how old are you in this picture?
I might be 3.
Okay.
Might be.
Now you have a sister.
I do.
And then you have any other siblings?
No, it's just me and her.
Now, are you the oldest or younger? You're older or
I'm
younger?
the younger, but I feel like sometimes I'm the older one.
And what's your sister's name? Shout her out.
Eunice. Go Eunice.
Okay. Now, are your parents still in Virginia?
Yes, my parents are in Virginia. My dad, he is a doctor who contracts into different cities. So he may be in Maryland, he may be in New York, but home is Virginia.
Okay. And then your mom?
My mom is in Virginia, yep.
Okay. And so when you were growing, now did you grow up your entire time in Northern Virginia, or did you move around?
I grew up in D.C. I'm sorry. I was born and raised in Northwest D.C., and that was in the 80s. And, you know, what happened to D.C. in the 80s?
Well, for people who don't, right.
Crack.
Okay.
And so my dad was like, yeah, nah, we're not having this. My parents are both immigrants from Nigeria. From Nigeria, and they settled on DC. And so he was like, yeah, what is this? What's going on here? No, let me just move on out and go to the suburbs. So we moved out to Northern Virginia, and we've been in that general area ever since.
So what were you like as a kid? I know you don't remember at 3 years old, but how would you describe yourself as a kid?
I was always following my sister around. She's literally my best friend. And even though we hated each other for a period, as all siblings do, I looked up to her. Everything that she was doing, I wanted to do. Everything she got into, I got into. Every friend that she had, I wanted. So, you know, I was following her around, and she was a social person. She had, you know, we had like a, and so
now, there was now obviously Wadley's your married name. What was your maiden name?
My maiden name is Omole.
Okay.
So people didn't really get me.
Really?
They didn't understand the foods that we ate. They didn't understand that, you know, why did my clothes smell like foods that they didn't recognize. I didn't know what soul food. There's a lot of things in Black culture that I didn't get. Wow. Just because that wasn't my family. So the friends that I had, it was hard making friends with the cool kids. And so my personality came out because in order for me to make friends, I became a comedian. I was a people pleaser because I wanted Black friends. I wanted the cool kid friends. And so I think my younger years was about just really trying to find myself as a Black person who wasn't really Black. Right.
Now, your school, was it racially, was it equal?
Oh, it was
racially?
DC. Okay. So especially when I was younger in elementary school, it was Chocolate City. So it was all Black. When we moved to Northern Virginia, again, it was mainly Black ethnicities in our school system. So it was great because we had a little bit of everything, but still trying to figure out who I am as a Black person, like who looked Black but didn't share the Black culture. That was difficult to navigate.
And so the next picture, now I didn't know how old you were. This is like some sort of graduation, maybe? Is this middle school graduation?
I think this was my church robe.
Sis, I really thought that was like, is this graduation?
Yeah, no. This is we belong to a Methodist church in DC, and we were I don't know what they call like the I don't know if they're not pallbearers, but they were the ones that kind of went down the aisle and extinguished the candles. I don't know what they called them, but I love that job. And I think it was like every second Sunday, it was like the young people that had to do all that. And so you get to walk down the aisle. You had to like turn on the candle and then flick it off. And it was just, you know, I just loved that part of church. And so I used to wear it.
Just to be wearing it.
Just to wear it because I was, you know, it was fun.
That's what you do.
That's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you, do you think?
I think I might have been 6 or 7.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now, the church that you belonged to then, did you maintain that same faith throughout?
So no, with reverence that you had for the music, it was all hymnal. Mm-hmm. When you go to a black backwood Baptist church,
right?
I was like, okay, why
y'all
so loud? Why y'all so loud? Why is grandma on the floor? Why are people running around? What's with the tambourine? Like, it was sensory overload. But I got my black card at that church. Okay. So I will be forever thankful for Little Union Baptist Church in Virginia. So yeah, it was good times. I really enjoyed church life because it allowed me to be a part of Black culture.
When did you have your first date? Can you tell it? I don't want to get you in trouble if your parents don't know.
My first date was at the University of Virginia. We couldn't talk on the phone. We couldn't go out. We couldn't do anything. It was school, home, school, home, school, home. So I didn't date.
Wow.
I honestly didn't even date for real until I went to college.
And so where did you end up? This one I'm assuming is high school.
No, this is college.
Good. So excellent segue. Excellent segue. Yeah. So where did you end up going undergrad?
I went to the University of Virginia.
Okay.
And
so when you tell me about the first few days you get there, so having been sheltered, very sheltered.
Yeah.
What is that like?
I was actually just on the phone with my good friend from college, and it was another culture shock. I realized how sheltered I was when I went there. I mean, they were people from New York, Jersey, Florida. I mean, everybody just had way different experiences. They just knew, I think the girls just knew more about themselves, about their bodies. You know, they were just a lot more mature than I was. And I was just like, okay, where have I been? Like,
right.
You know, why did I miss out on this? And, you know, part of it was trying to please my parents and stay out of trouble. The other one was, not making the same mistakes my sister made, because she was a year ahead of me at the same university, and so you know she would tell me about all her adventures and tell me about the time she got in trouble. So I was like, yeah, I don't like trouble. Right. That me and trouble, right. we don't mix.
Right.
So let me just be a good girl. And when I got there, I was just like, hey, that's how y'all get down. This is the first time I got drunk. My freshman year. Okay. Never again. I don't even drink because of what happened my freshman year.
Can you tell us? You might as well give us the Cliff Notes version.
Cliff Notes version is I did not. First of all, I was like 100 pounds soaking wet when I went to college.
Oh God, please tell me this didn't involve like Mad Dog or Boone's Farm.
E&J Brand.
Oh God.
Dark liquor. The dark liquor. The gate. When I didn't even listen. I didn't transition. I went straight to the hard liquor. And I was skinny.
Nobody offered you a Sutter Home White Zinfandel?
No.
At the spot?
Because everybody else was way more experienced than I was. So, and I had not eaten that whole day.
Oh,
we had like this party in Tuttle, which is one of the freshman dorms way back in the woods. And I was like, it tasted nasty, but I was like, I'm going to get lit. Like I'm going to get a buzz. Okay. Somebody should have told me, sat me down and said, you can get a buzz just off of this much.
Right.
Not the whole cup and a half. So I think I have snippets of that evening, but most of it was a blur. Most of it, I literally blacked out. And I woke up the next day in my bed. And I was like, never again. Luckily, I was with friends. And as a freshman, you know,
right?
You don't know, you're still trying to figure out who your friends are, right? They ended up having to tell me how I literally, this is the slang back then, kirked out. And I realized what type of drunk I was. And it wasn't cute. So I told a lot of truths that night that I should have probably kept to myself.
Oh, you were that drunk.
I'm that drunk. I'm the annoying drunk.
Now let me tell you about what you did.
That
on so and so.
I was telling all the tea. I was just like, And another thing. I was just going, and I was telling people who I liked, I like you, I want to do this to you, I want to do that to you. Oh. It was a mess. It was a mess. I do remember bringing it back up in a bathroom. And I remember being walked, like one of my guy friends, one of my girlfriends, having to hold me up, walking me back to my room. That I do remember that, and I do remember singing at the top of my lungs. And this was probably like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember snippets, but for the most part that night, done.
And that was it.
I was like, there's no reason to do that.
Right.
Now, could I have tried something else like wine or a wine cooler? Yes, but I was like, what is this for? What's the purpose of getting drunk? I didn't have a good time. I have a good time sober. So he termed it, I guess, commerce.
Okay. And so when did you graduate?
2002.
Okay. Now, was it just the single major with the concentration, or did you have double major?
Yeah, it was the two specializations, but that was it.
So what were you like in college then? Outside of this incident, we shall never speak of again. but
I mean, I think I was, I'd like to think that I think I'm very similar then to what I am now is I know a lot of people. I'm very close to few.
Right.
For the most part, people can recognize me. They're like, oh, hey, Julie, how you doing? And I can kiki and we can cool. You know, we have like little moments where we're cool, but home is, very small. I have maybe 1 or 2 really good friends in my circle, and then everybody else is just kind of
gotcha.
the outside. So, and it's kind of the same way. I have like really really close girlfriends that I still have to this day, and everybody else is, I mean, and it's not a bad thing, but it's very hard for me to let people in just because I'm always bouncing around from doing one thing to another.
And so in college,
very much so. We had a university within the university. It's funny that I went to a predominantly white university, but I felt like I went to black college because that's all who that's who I hung with. That was my experience, and I know people who listen before you at me. I know this is not some people who went to HBCUs say to black people who went to a PWI, you did not go to HBCU. You might have felt like you did, but you didn't.
Right.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I had a very rich black experience at UVA because that's what we created for ourselves. Nobody was going to provide that for us. So we had a black bus stop, we had a black eating time, we had a system where it was just us. And we held that very sacred.
Same, yeah. I felt like that was very much true for us at UNCC. That and it was very.
My second night at UVA.
Holy cow!
He doesn't like me. He doesn't like me telling the story.
Oh, it's too late.
But one of the chips that I had on my shoulder since I was very young is, oh, you're Eunice's sister. Like I was always Eunice's sister. I was never me. And so I would pass by and I would say hey, and we all got to be really good, really close, and he was the first door in the dormitory, so I would always pass by him, hey, how you doing? And then slowly became, oh, hey, how you doing? And move on to, let me stop over real quick, have a quick kiki, and then it became, okay, now I'm just in your room.
Right.
I'm just in your room. So we just really grew to have a strong friendship. And you know how when somebody likes you, and I knew that he liked me, but I wasn't on the same page at the same time, and it took me a while to feel the same way, but eventually I got there. And so we ever since then we've been together ever since.
Wow.
No daggone break.
No break. So how old were you all when you all got married?
I was 26 and he was 28.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't think that was young. But a lot of people were just like, oh my God, you married young? I was like, really?
That's not young. Well, now it is, I guess. It's kind of relative.
Yeah, true.
But you all stayed together from post-graduation up until the time that you all decided to get married. Did you stay in the same area?
So he moved to Richmond, Virginia, which wasn't that far, but to a college student who has no car, you might as well be in
wherever.
Africa.
Right.
So, but we stayed close. We were, definitely, we had planned this vacation to St. Martin. Didn't know that he was going to propose. But I told him that at that time I was interested in Delta. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, excuse me. And the timing was just really bad because I was, in that process of, trying to become a Delta. And so...
Let me guess, you got the call and you had to dip. Same.
I had to do
It's like, all right, I'm out. I gotta
go. And he was like,
you leaving?
A word?
Like, no, like for real. I'm out in the morning.
You're really leaving on this day. And I was just like, I gotta leave. And so he proposed the day before. And then I had to leave the next day. So I was just like, that man must love me because he didn't been through a whole lot of shenanigans with me. And to that point where he was just like, well, mind you, it was supposed to be a surprise, so I couldn't really be at fault for that.
Right.
But still, I'm sure he was just like, this chick right here.
Now, what did you do but post-graduation? Where did you go? Where were you working? What kind of work were you doing?
I lived in Philly, and I was working for... United Behavioral Health, which was an insurance company. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Shout out to. They are nothing like they were in that picture.
Okay, so there's none of this hugging and being like.
They are absolutely nothing like that picture.
Now, what grade are they in now?
They're in 4th and 5th grade now.
Oh. Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, kids are just really funny. You think when they're at that age that they're always going to be that way. And I know other older moms say, no, it's not going to happen. But it's not until it happens to you and your child. Where it's just like, well, dang, what happened? Like, why are you not this smart?
I keep seeing the black in it. I'm black in black in it. Black player. What was that dude? Oh, God, you know what you're talking about. I'm black in the black.
The dude from Cali.
I keep thinking New Jack City. He was on a different world.
Jason's Lyric.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, him.
Blackity black, y'all. So I was so wanting to be like everybody else. I did not appreciate the fact that my parents and my family were from the motherland, from Nigeria. Like we had a culture that has been there for decades, ages. I can trace my ancestors to everybody, so I didn't appreciate that. Now that I am older, I love the fact that we have traditional music and clothing and the way we do our hair and the language and just how such a rich history that I'm from. I appreciate it, and so I'm sure my black friends are sick of me, but I'm so Nigerian. Like every song I'm like the proud Nigerian American. Like any time that I could wave that Nigerian flag, I'm all about it because I love being Nigerian. And
that's a journey. It sounds, or it's been a journey to get to that point.
It has been, and unfortunately, since I don't know the language, there's still that kind of barrier there. But I just enjoy the fact that I can go back whenever I want to. I'm a dual citizen, so I can live there. If I listen, and Trump had his way. If something go down, I'm like, listen, we packing this joint up. We getting on that plane. We have somewhere to be. You know what I mean? Like there is a system. There is a events, and just generally getting my name out there. And it was a struggle. I mean, it was really, really a struggle. One, because the industry that I chose to be in business was not something that Black people really take to.
Right.
Anything in the personal development services industry, we aren't present as much as our counterparts are. And so, or anything having to do with help, right? And so I had to say, yeah, I'm actually a matchmaker. Yeah, I'm actually a coach. Like, I'm not BSing you. I'm not, trying to hustle you out of money. Like, this is what I do. And I think people were just like,
they got to get that.
Like, they really had to get that. Like, and to this day, to be fair, I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of people dismiss what I do because they don't deem it to be like, oh, you're not like a lawyer, or you're not a venture capitalist, or you're not something where they're just like, yeah, that's a serious job.
And it's hard for them to see the value that they may need help.
Come on,
they may need help to get to where they need, and take your ego out of it and say,
this is
make it right.
This is a very private, a very vulnerable type of service, and our community, we've been so strong and or present a strong front that it's very difficult for us to say publicly, I need help.
Right.
And so to not only say that, but to put money on that, they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm willing to do it for free.
Right.
I can do it for $3.99, but I'm not really going to invest.
Right.
And so boat. And they have a list of different events that they could participate in during the day. You're always kind of wondering, like, is anybody going to take it seriously? Is anybody going to come? What are they going to think? And so I was super nervous. I brought my friend along to help me, and so I was just like, oh God, I just hope I get 5 people to join my workshop or whatever. And I got a really, really good audience. And so that helped me to say, yeah, Julie, you belong here. Like, you've got something to say. And not only do you have something to say, people want to hear from you.
Right.
They're looking for answers. You may not give them the answers that they want, but you are here to help, which is what I was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
So the scope of your practice, the scope of the practice and what Ila Simone now does is what? Like, give us the full spectrum.
So I do one-on-one coaching. I also do, obviously, the matchmaking, but group coaching, seminars, workshops, private events. And I also do speaking engagements and panel discussions and things like that. So anytime someone is looking for an expert, and I put that in air quotes because you really can't, to me, and for, I don't think you can be an expert in relationships because every relationship is unique.
Right.
So I can't be the expert in your relationship, but I can give you best practice guidelines and what makes sense from a relationship standpoint. So I think people are looking for more answers. So anyway, back to your question. And now I'm doing a lot more work on the local news station and on Facebook Live. So I was like, oh, this might be a good avenue. So I'm thinking about making more, maybe season 4, making it live.
And so tell us about While We Wait. What give us the obviously, is this encouraging that she's actually about to fall out?
This is a fantasy. This picture is a lot. This is a fantasy of a lot of women.
Okay.
Right?
Let's break it down.
They're literally waiting to be married. They're like, I got my job. I got my life together. I get my shoes. I get my dress. I'm just waiting for this man to come along and complete this picture. And so I said, well, why are you doing that, sis? How about we get yourself, like how about we just get your life together, get yourself in order so that when you do find someone, you are in the best position to have that relationship be the best it can be.
Let me ask you a question. So when you made the decision to go out and do your own thing, like what type of training, what type of certifications, what types of things did you have to do to get to that point?
So the first thing I decided to do was to get certified as a life coach. I didn't want to be talking to people and not knowing what the heck I was doing, because a lot of people, it does not replace some of the basics around getting to know someone, connecting, and being in a relationship. I think people are using social media. I think people are using these tools as a way to measure their worth. You know, we have these Instagram models, we have Instagram relationships, we have all of the messaging around what makes a good relationship, and it all looks amazing. But then people look at themselves in reality and they're just like, I don't compare to that.
Right.
So us living in a digital age, it brings us closer together, but on an individual basis, it rips us apart, because we're no longer a community. We are just consumers of information.
How do we get back to that?
I think people need to use the tools to help them with their goals, right? So you need to figure out what it is that you want first, how you plan on going to get it, and then what tools are you going to use to do it. You can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, you can use these dating apps, but it needs to align to the bigger goal. You're not just going to say, okay, I want to go date now, so let me just hop on Bumble or hop on, Match.com or something. No, have a plan. Like, what are you going to do on these apps? What type of person are you looking for?
Right.
Okay, how are you going to show up in this space in order to get what you're looking for? I don't think people are thinking that all the way through. So the first thing is, what are you looking for?
Which brings me to my first question is, well, who are you?
Right.
Because I think you have to answer that question first before you put yourself out there in the dating space. I know, and I think it can be very situational, because I just real talk, trying to date as a judge was horrible. Terrible. Yeah. It was terrible, because it was like, one, I have to be very mindful of where I am. I still wanted to be myself, so I was still kind of bucking the system, if you will, still wanting to feel like I'm still Yolanda. And then it was just like, okay, but then you meet somebody, it's like, hey, what do you do for a living? Damn. Yeah. So I would say I just work in the private sector. I mean, in the public sector, I work with people. I work in the public sector, and
it's a shame.
And I shouldn't have to do that, because as soon as you hear, you would, regardless of race, oh, you're a judge. Oh, you a judge. Or there's this whole like automatic, you must be this, and this. And so even if we got past that, a lot of what I would hear is, oh, you cool for a judge. Oh, you got a real sense of humor to be a judge. Or, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do all that as a judge. So it's like I felt so much was tied to my title versus who I am. And even when I got past that, it was just like shock and awe that like I'm a whole real person who likes to go do stuff. And
I actually hate that question. I hate the fact that we ask what people do before we ask, who are you?
Say that again, sis.
I hate that people ask what we do versus who we are, because I think what the issue that I find with dating is that people, when asked that question, immediately they go to what it is that I do, because that's easy to answer. Right. I am a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I am an artist. I'm a photographer. Whatever. That only gives what you get a paycheck for. Has nothing to do with who you are as a person. And so I think some people use what they do to bolster themselves, right? Let me show you that I got clout. Let me show you that I've got money. Let me show you that I'm important. Let me show you that I'm worthy. And they use that. They lead with that. And so I think we've gotten used to leading with things that make people feel like they're getting a good value. Right. And for the most part, when people ask, no, who are you? People get dumbstruck. They're like,
Because they'll still want to say, well, I'm a this
Right.
or I am this.
Right.
And you're still associated with what you do and
Right.
not who you are.
Right. Like, I'm not asking what you produce. I'm not asking what is your output in life. I'm asking what makes you different from the next Joe Schmo.
Give you. Because I've asked this. We don't have enough time, sis, but normally when I ask this question, well, what do you mean? Okay. Well, no, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example? Bro, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I can't give you an example of how to answer the question, sir. Like,
Wait, can you give me...
What do you mean?
Give me a clue.
You can't even get them to answer basic questions.
I mean, I would say that over 90%, I mean, obviously I didn't do any math on this, so don't quote me, but an overwhelming majority of people don't know how to date. Because they are basing it off of what they hear other people say.
Right.
Is the definition of dating. Right. They don't know what to do on a date. All they're thinking is, well, I'm just gonna go on a date and we'll talk. Okay, we'll have drinks, we'll have dinner. That's a date. Well, do you know what you are getting out of it other than a free meal?
Right.
For ladies. Sorry.
Or gentlemen, sometimes. Keep it real.
Other than a free meal and a good time, what are you getting out of it? What information did you gather that's going to help you determine whether or not he or she deserves date number 2?
Right.
If you haven't answered that for yourself, you are wasting your time. And so that's why dating sucks right now. Because you don't know what you're doing. You don't have a plan. And I think people shy away from creating a strategy for dating because you're so wrapped up in, but you shouldn't be strategizing love. That should just be natural. You should just, that's it. No. If every other part of your life, you got a plan.
Right.
This is no different. This is actually more important because these are the people that you are putting into your intimate circle. And if you aren't purposeful in who you are sleeping with, who you are allowing into your private circle, who has access to you, who has access to your money sometimes, since you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Bruh, you're doing it wrong.
Right. And so what are the tips that you give to people to determine whether or not he or she is a keeper?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, is she or he hitting all of the requirements?
Okay. So what do you mean by requirements? Okay.
When I say requirements, I mean these are the qualities that they either have or they do not have. For example, do they have integrity? Do they have a discipline? Are they honest? Do they have a sense of morality? Those are things that you either have or you don't have. There's no negotiating some of these core values. And so you ask yourself, do they have all of these things that I require in a person and in a relationship? Once you understand that, are they willing to give you what you need? And when your emotional needs and your functional needs, meaning, are they giving you, let's say, for example, you need affection. You need communication, open and honest communication. You need someone who is supportive. Are they giving you what you need? Right. And if they are not, and are not willing to, they're not a keeper. If they are, then they are a keeper. It's pretty simple when you have already listed out your requirements and your needs.
And what if it's some of them that they do and some of them that they don't? Is there wiggle room?
There's only wiggle room in the needs.
Okay.
There's no wiggle room in.
I was about to lean back,
but I will say this: I will say men make things more complicated when it comes to dating because they are not willing to be honest with themselves and with the women or men that they are entertaining. Men are out here saying that they just want someone who is patient with them, someone who is loyal, someone who is like a ride or die. Unfortunately, they're not looking at themselves and saying, I'm giving her the same thing. Like a lot of men are wanting these things, but they're not looking at themselves and saying, am I providing the same thing?
Right.
And this is not to throw men under the bus, but unfortunately, I see this all too often where women are like literally giving them everything and the men are not because they're not interested in commitment at the time.
Okay. And so, Laura, let's get to the big one. Navigating online dating. Oh, God. Can we just first, I can tell you the first thing, is the profile a real person? Can we get past that? And are these pictures accurate, sir? Why are these pictures when you were fine and fit 5 years ago? Yes, this is me being personal. This is, you got to figure out whether or not this is even an actual person. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, sis. It's crazy. Crazy. Like, why are you using somebody's Instagram pictures? Like, you don't think we don't use Google, what is it, Google Photos?
Yeah,
you can find, like, bro, people still catfishing in 2020. Why are we still doing that?
And, and here's the thing. I do think with online dating, it's a bad rep. And I think it's because there are certainly a lot of issues when it comes to online dating. But I think people focus so much on that part, right, and not enough on the benefits of it. Like, people love to hear about the train wrecks. They love to hear about all the dumb stuff that goes on with online dating, and it's like, I remember when did it, and they don't let that go. And so they say, I just threw away all my apps. I decided not to do it because of that one guy ruined that. To get an idea of one, does he or she remember what they said? And two, is it consistent? And then you say, okay, if he's giving you consistency, just say, hey, would love to meet. I'm having girlfriends are all going out to, or my dudes are all going out to this comedy show. Want to come through? You don't have to make it a one-on-one date, right? You can make it a group thing just to get him in just your circle. And it's also protection, right? You don't necessarily want to meet someone, one-on-one, and you don't know what he looked like. You can't verify nothing. So you want to get them in a public space to kind of feel them out. And once you kind of get them in person, you take it from there. But the whole purpose of online date is to just get off. Yeah, well,
I think one of the things, with some of them that are out there now, because I know one of them in particular that I had gotten on is because I knew a couple people who had met their spouses that way. And what they are doing, at least allowing you to video chat, or because you got to be able to see the person on WhatsApp or whatever for 5 minutes so I can see you. Nope, you are not who you say you are. Period. Because otherwise you just wasting time, because we all know the tricks. Everybody got these car selfies. You got 10 different car selfies. You got like, bruh, come on, man. Or the classic gym picture. Everybody's got to have it.
Can y'all stop doing that though?
Right.
Right. So I get the same when people submit photos and profiles to me to be in the database. I'm like, why did you choose that picture? Like, they will choose like pictures with boobs hanging out. Right. You're not wearing a shirt, guys. Like these overly sexual.
Because that's what they feel like people want to see. Yeah.
It's coming through me though. Like, I'm the one that has to so why are you that's the thing. What are you leading with? And I think people need to remember, if you want a certain type of person, lead with that. Your pictures need to be consistent with what you're saying in your profile. And you really have to spend some time on your profile. Like this whole, I want to save the trees, I love travel, and I love eating out and shopping. Okay, 50 million other people do that too. Right.
Or 90% of them don't have anything. They don't say anything.
You're wasting your time. Like, you are literally wasting your time.
And then you say, well, hey, your profile doesn't say much. Well, what do you? Because of whatever reason, but it's also affecting that person on the other side because they don't know why or what's going on. And it could be something innocent or it could be malicious intent. Who knows? But this phenomenon is just, it's crazy. Now, what would you say? So that being said, what would you say to a man or woman who has had that situation happen and it's hurtful, or they're having some sort of issue in how to deal with that? Because I hear that, from girlfriends rather, who had to deal with that, as well as me personally.
And unfortunately, that has come with social media, and this is where we're not in the same community anymore, so it's easy to ghost someone. It's either the courage or the words to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I really hate ghosts. I really hate that people do that, because it just leaves too many questions, and it makes you the bad person. And you might not be a bad person, but you're leaving this impression on people,
right?
And they are talking, and especially if you live in a place like Charlotte, where everybody,
right,
everybody knows it's a very small degree of separation when it comes to this community, right? So just if you are not feeling this person, it's just easier to just say, you know what, find a great way of saying it's not a match for me right now, or at this moment
and that's
I really
just that
like
simple.
you. And it is really that simple. Guys, let me tell you something about women. If you tell her the truth, she might not agree with it or like it, but it is much easier to just tell her the truth than to ghost.
Well, that's the end of the show now.
It is so much easier,
simple.
because what you are doing is creating a problem where it was not before.
Right.
You are creating drama where it was not before.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have, you're out and about. The person that you ghosted just is across the way, and now it's a thing. Now it's what do I do? Oh my God, if you'd have just cut that joint from the get, just to be women appreciate honesty. We appreciate, listen, I really like you. I think we had a really good connection, but right at this time, it's just not working out for me, or I'm really interested in getting to know someone else. I'm sorry.
Any of that.
Would we be hurt? Dang, we'd be like, oh, damn. Yes, but we'll get over it, because at least you were honest. We have gotten so used to people not being honest in dating that it's actually refreshing when people are honest.
Which is really sad.
Which is sad. It's a novel idea to be honest. So if you are just honest, and I know that takes courage, and a lot of people just don't have it. Let's be real. A lot of people are cowards. They would rather bury their head in the sand and avoid a situation and just not adding anything of value to you and your life. It is not a healthy. And this goes beyond just your intimate relationships. This is any relationship, friendship, family, professional. If they are not adding value to you and your life, cut it, because it's not healthy.
Right. And so, but how do you define so is it just that they're adding value, or is there more to it than that?
So healthy is different for everybody, right? So what I define as healthy is if I have a life vision who, gives you that affirmation, those 5 love languages, that is building you up to be who you are meant to be, then that is a healthy relationship.
And do you buy into the 5 love languages?
I do, wholeheartedly.
And what are they for people who
you gonna quiz me now?
Oh, I'm sorry,
okay.
sis. I don't know them all.
So let me see if I remember. I'm not the awful. So it is physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and
is it quality time?
Quality time. That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. We got it. I know we got it. We got it.
So those are the general 5 love languages. Now there's a difference between the love language that you know for yourself, how you receive love, and then there's how you give love. Like a lot of men want to receive physical touch, but they think that women want to receive gifts. So that doesn't always work out. So you need to know not only what your love language is, but what your partner's love language is, and not think that all women or all men want the same thing, because they don't.
That's very true. And so if a person doesn't know what their language is, because I think there's even quizzes out there now that make it really simple to find out what it is. Now, what if you have a love language that really doesn't align with another, like, at all? Like, let me give you an example. Like, me personally. So I'm a quality time person. Words of affirmation people drive me crazy. Like, I don't need you to tell me
oh my God,
how fantastic you are. All that bothers, because that's just not that. I don't do that. I don't say how awesome you are 10 times a day.
Yeah.
What are you doing today, Queen? Oh my God, that is so amazing. You're so amazing. Go out there and kick ass.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I plan to do. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be.
You don't gotta tell me that I was gonna do it.
But seriously, it's just like, but if I know that that's that person, it's just like.
But see, that's why you need to know what you receive,
right,
and what your partner or the person that you're around, how they receive it,
right.
So, just because I receive words of affirmation doesn't mean I'm giving you words of affirmation,
right.
Someone who doesn't really know what they're doing is probably going to give the same thing that they like. But so I like gifts, so I'm just going to give gifts. Like my mom, her love language is definitely acts of service. Listen, you come, she's doing this. What can I do for you? What can I do? Da. But I don't do that.
Right.
That's not how I show my love. But she's just like, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I'm like, because he don't deep level. I love the fact that I was the broker of that. The cons of it is, unfortunately, because this is a business and I do this not as a hobby or because I love you or because, I'm just playing Cupid. There's an expectation involved when money is exchanged.
Right.
So people, they're like, oh, I'm just looking for someone to love me. I don't care about looks.
Ooh, did I roll my eyes hard enough? Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, that hurt.
When I tell you.
Yes, they do.
This is before money is exchanged.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I just want them to love me. I just want Okay, now we exchange money. Okay, no. Oh, no. This photo, no, no. Oh, wait a minute. How tall is he? Oh, no, we're not doing that. Oh, wait, I don't really, Okay, so now all of these phantom criteria is coming through because when you provide someone money, you're thinking that I'm going to get top notch. I'm going to get all the bells and whistles. I'm going to get my fantasy. And that's not what I do. I think people misunderstand what it is that I do. I'm here to match lifestyles, value sets, visions of a certain life together. I'm not here to match 10s with 10s. I'm not here to match 5s with 10s. I'm not here to, be your pimp.
There's no mic for me to drop. Oh, I can't drop it. Go ahead. Keep it real. Keep it real
on that.
Yeah.
I'm not a pimp. Right? So I'm not here to say, oh, I want an Idris and I want a Michael B. Jordan and I want, but he got to go to church every Sunday. But oh, wait a minute, he got to help his grandma on Saturdays and he's got to look. I'm not producing.
I was looking for a matchmaker.
One, I am not going to help you find someone to, is really for people who know what they want, know what they're looking for, socially adept, but they just need help in connecting with different people. So I would say if you're ready to connect with different people and be present, then we can work together.
What about success stories for you?
So I think one of my favorite success stories is it was a female client that I was working with. She has this very time-consuming position. Or going to the same places that they always go to find people. Okay, you've done the same place over and over and over. The same people go to the same places.
Right.
So do something different.
Like what?
Go hiking. Go and do a meetup group. Go do a TED Talk. Or go do something that is in another city. Just do something different. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, we as humans are creatures of habit. And until we break the habit, we're going to have the same results. So just change something up. And it doesn't have to be going to a different place. It could be just thinking differently. Open yourself up to new possibilities. Most Black women can only see Black men. That is all they see. They're not looking at Billy, Jose.
But Billy ain't gonna listen, sis.
Wait a minute.
Is not gonna roll up on me.
We gonna pause because
sis,
Lauren and Cameron done already told all of y'all that is possible.
And it may very well be, but I'm just saying in my space, Billy ain't finna roll up on me.
But in your space, meaning what?
Just like, where Billy at? First of all. So maybe
Billy's at a football stadium, which you are at.
Right. But I'm screaming my head off in my tutu. And Billy's like, yo, she really likes football. That's either going to be really dope or really scary. It's going to be one or the other. But to your point, but then I'm not necessarily in social settings where I would meet him. So, I have to check it from that perspective too. But I've always gotten this thing where white dudes don't roll up on me. They just don't.
Okay.
And that's fine. I mean, that's okay. But
do they have to roll up on you?
If I've expressed, and I'll even say it from an online perspective, because I have no problem being transparent. Like the site that I've tried, like I've even said, okay, let's see what's out there. Swipe on white guys. They'll say hello, and then I'll hear nothing else.
Okay.
They won't engage in conversation. Or if they do, you can tell there's a curiosity of dating a Black woman. You don't really want to date me. It's the idea of dating a Black woman.
Okay.
Or maybe the social stigma. Like there was a couple people that I've met whenever I've tried online dating were cool, but you could tell that they weren't gonna do anything that would be serious because of social stigma or whatever the case may be. So no, I've tried. We don't have that many hours in the show.
We can definitely talk about that online.
But it's just really interesting because you can tell when somebody's flirting, but then there's this, we're not in a post-racial society, and we're still in the South, and people are still dealing with the novelty, and I hate to use that word, but interracial relationships and what that means, and are they even strong enough to deal with what comes with in an interracial relationship, even when you see so much of it now. It's still not. There's still things you've got to navigate in personal and professional space.
And to that point, you're right. I think there are a lot of relationships that people just need to navigate. Period.
Right.
Right. And that's a layer that interracial couples need to navigate. They're not always going to be there when you first meet them.
Right.
I think that over time, given that person's love for you, will help them to see what they did not see before. And as long as they have the willingness to and to be open to what's going on, then that's great. But I don't think that we should expect white men to get it day one. LLC, and on Instagram just Julie O Wadley on Instagram. But yeah, mostly my website.
Okay, so the last thing we do is call So. You gotta look that way a little bit because you can't look at the questions when I put them up. Okay. And so you have to answer just without thinking about it. And
the first thing that comes out of my
mouth? First thing that comes out of your mouth. And we just gonna roll with it from there. Okay. So if you could be any cartoon character, who would you be and why?
Oh my gosh. My cartoon character. I haven't watched cartoons. Jem, the pink hair chick, the rock star girl. You still know the theme song? No, I forgot. I forgot it, but I was obsessed with her.
Why?
I don't know why. I honestly, and trust me, I'm still claiming baby brain because I haven't forgot a whole lot of stuff. But I do remember having like her puzzles. I had her doll. I was like, I knew all the words to the cartoon. And at the time I knew all the songs, but I don't know. It's just something about her being wild and carefree and all her friends loved her. And I think I liked Pink at the time. I don't know.
Okay.
But
All right.
She was a rock star. Oh, you know why?
Why?
Because she was on stage, and I've always wanted to be on stage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jim. All right. I gotta think of the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, you do.
If you had to eat the same thing every day, what would it be?
Sushi.
Girl.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day.
See,
Every day.
I've had some people that have gone in the opposite and said they could not possibly eat it at all. Those people are weird. They know who they are.
Y'all just need to just leave.
Okay, anyway.
Just leave.
just leave it for us.
Leave.
What scares you?
My children dying before me.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most adventurous thing you have done?
Jump out of a plane.
And when did you do that? Girl, ain't that the best?
That's some next level stuff.
Best.
That's some next level stuff. That's really putting your life in somebody's hands.
Right. Because, right.
Yeah.
But then when you get down on the ground, it's like, oh, I'm going to do that again.
Exactly.
Like, let's
do
roll.
It was, I want to say it was before I got married. So 2005, 2006, something like that.
Would you do it again?
I would.
There's this,
I would.
because I did it last year for the
Mhm.
first time. Spot up in Salisbury. It was great.
Yeah, I would do it again. I want to do it with someone though.
Mhm.
Like I know I'm not qualified for it,
Mhm.
but I kind of want to do where we're holding hands and we're
Mhm.
doing tricks and stuff. But I'm clearly not qualified.
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna be a while for
A little bit,
Right.
Mhm.
You got right. What secret talent do you have?
A secret talent.
Like if they say, I didn't know you could do that, girl. Like,
I think I can act.
okay.
I think I can act.
Well, it's not a secret now.
I feel like I can, because especially my favorite shows, I memorize the scenes.
Really?
And so I would act them out.
By yourself or
By myself.
Oh, girl, yeah, that's a talent for sure. What was your favorite show? Like if I said, what's your show now that you can still remember? Scenes
My
or
favorite show, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite movie, The Sound of Music.
Which song?
No, actually, Edelweiss.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you still know all the words, all that?
I
Yeah.
do.
Okay, and so Martin, you know the characters, or you just know?
I know the characters. I don't know as many scenes as I used to, but the Dragonfly Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that all the guys that I liked didn't like me. I was just like, oh man, I feel like I never got what I wanted, and I was just like, girl, you're just gonna be so freaking confident one day.
Mm-hmm.
So just wait.
What else? Anything else you'd tell you 16
You will have a body.
Dang, sis, were you that skinny?
Girl. I had no shade.
Wow.
None. No blue. Like I was a late bloomer in all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
All aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And so at 16, still skinny, no boobs, no hips, no nothing to show for myself. Nothing. And so I used to wear these baggy. I mean, at the time, everybody did, but I was like, thank God, because I just didn't have a body, or at least I didn't think I did. And so I'd be like, girl, you gonna rock them outfits one day, girl?
Yes. All right, and of course, what I ask everyone, and if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, what would it be? What is your theme song?
Oh my
sis?
God.
What is it?
That is such a hard question.
What in the world?
That is a very difficult question because I have a lot of songs that I'm just like, and I'll forget. And when I hear it again, I'm like, especially 90s, like 90s R&B, man, you can't touch that. But I will say, if I had this song playing every single day, I can't pick one.
You got to. This is like the rite of passage for every guest. Every guest has to come up with one song.
Jeez.
That's like the jam. Like when you kick the door open, this is what they finna hear. Sorry, you can't. You gotta answer. It's a rite of passage. I thought you knew. I thought you would have seen this question because everybody gets this question.
It's because I don't have one song. Okay. I'm such a culture into her music way before it was even cool to do.
Right. Exactly.
So just that beat. I love to seek help if you feel like you need it. You don't have to be alone and go to like a business where it rains when nobody's there. So I prefer
we're easy with all being one.
And
it is right, and it's a process. So we're gonna be all right, y'all. Love is love.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Bye now.
Bye.